First, it looked like a distortion in the starfield, a ripple in reality itself. Then it crystallized, literally. A structure materialized before them, vast beyond comprehension. It appeared to be made of living crystal, sheets and spires of translucent material that caught starlight and transformed it into dancing colors. Within its semi-transparent walls, patterns of energy flowed like blood through veins. "My God," Evans whispered. "It's been here all along. Just out of phase with our reality." Sarah was about to respond when every display on the bridge flickered simultaneously. The neural link systems that connected crew to ship hummed with new information, patterns that felt ancient and alien yet somehow familiar. A voice filled the bridge, though calling it a voice was like calling a supernova a spark. It resonated not just through the ship's speakers, but seemingly through the crew's very consciousness. "Children of Earth," it said, the words somehow perfectly understandable despite their alien origin. "You have grown faster than any species we have watched. Your curiosity led you here, just as we hoped it would." Sarah stepped forward. Years of training hadn't prepared her for this moment, but something deeper had, the inherent human drive to reach out, to understand, to connect. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Spaceship Horizon. We come in peace and friendship." Peace, friendship, these concepts we have observed in your kind, along with others less harmonious. But it is your adaptability we need most now, your ability to take the impossible and make it real. The crystalline structure pulsed with new patterns of light, and the neural links filled with images, other worlds, other species, civilizations rising and falling across millions of years. And through it all, watching, were the beings now revealing themselves, the luminary, as they called themselves, beings of pure energy and thought who had transcended physical form eons ago. But there was something else in the images, a darkness between stars, moving with purpose, something that devoured civilizations whole, leaving nothing but silence in its wake. "They are coming," the luminary voice continued, "the devourers. They consume all they encounter, growing stronger with each civilization they destroy. We cannot fight them. Our nature as energy beings makes us vulnerable to their technology. But you exist in both realms, matter and energy, solid and ephemeral. You might be able to do what we cannot." Sarah felt the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. This wasn't just first contact. This was first contact with a purpose. A test, perhaps, of humanity's readiness to join a larger cosmic community. Or maybe its readiness to help save it. "What exactly are you asking of us?" she asked, though part of her already knew the answer. "We offer an exchange," the voice replied. "We will share with you knowledge it took us millions of years to gather. In return, you will help us find a way to fight the devourers. Your physical technology combined with our energy manipulation might create something entirely new, something they cannot adapt to." Through the neural link, Sarah felt her crew's reactions, a mix of excitement, fear, and determination. They had come seeking knowledge, hoping to push the boundaries of human understanding. Instead, they'd found themselves at the threshold of a war for survival. But wasn't this what humanity did best? Adapt, innovate, find solutions where others saw only problems. "Show us," Sarah said. "Show us everything you can. We'll need to contact Earth, organize a proper response, but for now, show us what we're dealing with." The crystalline structure brightened, and through the neural links came a flood of information. The crew gasped collectively as knowledge beyond their wildest dreams poured into their minds. But more than just technical data, the luminaries shared their perspective, the view of beings who had watched the galaxy turn for millions of years. As the first hours of contact stretched into days, the crew of the Horizon began to understand the true scope of what they'd stumbled into. This wasn't just about saving Earth, or even about saving the luminary. This was about finding a new way forward for all forms of life in the Galand. Perhaps that was why the luminary had chosen humanity. Not because humans were the strongest or the most advanced, but because they had something unique, the ability to stand at the crossroads of multiple realities and see paths that others missed. The path forward would not be easy. The Devourers were coming, and with them, a test of everything humanity thought they knew about their place in the universe. But as Sarah watched her crew work alongside these beings of pure energy, already beginning to merge human intuition with luminary wisdom, she felt something she hadn't expected: hope. The void between stars had indeed held many secrets, but perhaps the greatest secret was that humanity had been ready for this moment all along. They just hadn't known it until now. The quantum engineering lab aboard the ESS Horizon had transformed beyond recognition in the weeks following first contact. What was once a sterile space of gleaming metal and holographic displays now pulsed with ribbons of living light. Dr. James Evans stood at his workstation, watching in amazement as pure energy danced between his fingers. "The integration is holding stable," he reported, his voice carrying both exhaustion and excitement. "The luminary energy patterns are successfully merging with our quantum matrices." Captain Sarah Chen nodded, though her attention was focused on the larger experiment taking place in the center of the lab. A prototype weapon housing hung suspended in a containment field, its surface rippling like liquid metal as luminary energy flowed through its circuitry. "Fascinating," the luminary voice echoed through their neural links. The crew had come to know this particular energy being as the teacher, though the concept of individual identity meant something very different to the luminary. "Your technology accepts our essence in ways we never thought possible." Lieutenant Maya Rodriguez monitored the energy readings from her station, her dark eyes reflecting the shifting patterns of light. "It's like the quantum drives all over again," she said. "Once we understood how to merge the two forms of existence, everything else started falling into place." The past weeks had been a crash course in impossible physics. The luminary shared knowledge accumulated over millions of years, but it was humanity's fresh perspective that found new ways to apply it. Their quantum drives, already revolutionary by human standards, had been enhanced beyond recognition. The Horizon could now slip between normal space and quantum space almost effortlessly. "Energy spike incoming," Maya warned. "The containment field is reaching its limits." Sarah watched as the prototype weapon began to vibrate. "Shut it down," she ordered. "We're still not quite there." As the experiment powered down, Sarah felt the familiar presence of the teacher expanding in her mind through the neural link. The sensation had been disorienting at first, but now it felt almost natural. "Your progress exceeds all expectations," the teacher communicated. "In mere weeks, you have achieved what other species could not in centuries." "We're adaptable," Sarah replied, a hint of pride in her voice. "It's what humans do best." The lab door slid open, admitting Commander David Park, the Horizon's tactical officer. His usually composed features showed signs of excitement. "Captain, you need to see this. The latest tests from the defense grid are in." The group moved to the main display wall where David brought up a holographic simulation. It showed a section of the Horizon's hull being struck by various forms of energy weapons, where once these attacks would have torn through shields and armor. Now they dissipated harmlessly against a barrier that seemed to exist in multiple phases of reality simultaneously. "The hybrid shields are working better than we hoped," David explained. "By existing partially in quantum space, they can deflect attacks before they fully materialize in normal space. The luminary energy makes it possible to maintain this dual state indefinitely." "But that's not all," James added, pulling up another set of data. "We're seeing unexpected synergies between our technologies. The neural links that let us interface with the ship, they're evolving. The luminary energy is enhancing them, making the connection deeper, more intuitive." Sarah had noticed this herself. The ship no longer felt like a separate entity. Through the enhanced neural link, it was becoming an extension of the crew's will, responding to their thoughts with unprecedented precision. "The Devourers will not expect this," the teacher observed. "Their strength lies in adapting to and absorbing the technologies they encounter. But you are creating something entirely new, a merger of physical and energy-based systems that operates outside their experience. Maya brought up a new set of readings. The quantum space signatures we're detecting are getting stronger. The devourers are getting closer. Sarah studied the data grimly. Earth had been notified, of course, and more ships were on their way. But the horizon would face the first wave alone. Everything depended on whether their hybrid technology could stand against the cosmic threat that had consumed so many civilizations before. "Show me the weapons test results again," she requested. The holographic display shifted, showing recordings of their prototype weapons in action. Beams of energy that phased between normal and quantum space, missiles that could alter their own reality state, and shields that existed in multiple planes of existence simultaneously. "We're not just copying the luminary technology," James observed. "We're finding new applications they never considered. Our physical universe understanding combined with their energy manipulation is creating possibilities neither of us imagined." The teacher's presence rippled with what felt like approval. "This is why we chose humanity. You do not simply use knowledge, you transform it. Where we saw limitations, you see opportunities." The lab hummed with power as another test began. Sarah watched her crew work, human and luminary knowledge flowing together seamlessly. They had come so far in such a short time. But would it be enough? "The devourers believe they are the pinnacle of evolution," the teacher communicated. "They consume other civilizations because they cannot imagine another path forward. But you humans, you create new paths." Sarah touched the prototype weapon housing, feeling the dual nature of its existence through her enhanced neural link. "How long do we have?" "Days, perhaps," Maya answered. "The quantum space disturbances are increasing exponentially." "Then we keep working," Sarah decided. "We test, we refine, we improve, and when they arrive, we show them something they've never seen before. A species that doesn't need to consume others to evolve." The lab burst into renewed activity, human and luminary working as one. Through the viewport, stars shone in the void, unknowing witnesses to a transformation that would reshape the galaxy. The forge of alliance burned bright, tempering humanity's steel with luminary light, creating something greater than either had been alone. And somewhere in the darkness between stars, the devourers approached, unaware that they were about to encounter something unprecedented. A species that had learned to dance between realities, wielding both physical might and energy manipulation as one. The true test was coming, and humanity was determined to prove themselves worthy of the trust the luminary had placed in them. They came out of quantum space like a nightmare made real. The first devourer ship emerged as a twisted mass of dark metal and crackling energy, larger than anything humanity had ever built. Through the horizon's enhanced sensors, the crew watched as it shifted and changed, its surface rippling like liquid metal as it adapted to normal space. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across her console. 3 more signatures incoming. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's center, outwardly calm despite the hammering of her heart. The neural link hummed with tension as her crew prepared for humanity's first encounter with the galaxy's greatest predator. "They are scanning us." The teacher's presence rippled through their minds. Already they seek to understand, to consume, to adapt. The horizon hung in space beside the massive crystalline structure of the luminary, their hybrid technologies fully integrated and humming with power. They had prepared for this moment, but seeing the devourers in person was something else entirely. "All stations, report," Sarah commanded. "Hybrid shields at full power," David Park responded from tactical. "Weapons systems charged and ready. Phase shift torpedoes armed. Quantum drive at standby," Maya added. "Reality anchor systems engaged." "Neural network operating at optimal efficiency," James Evans confirmed from his science station. "Luminary energy integration is stable." The devourer ships moved with unnatural grace, their forms constantly shifting and changing as they analyzed their surroundings. Through the neural link, Sarah could feel the teacher's ancient memory of countless civilizations that had faced these beings before. None had survived. But none had had what humanity now possessed, the unique combination of physical technology and luminary energy manipulation. "They're broadcasting," Maya announced suddenly. The message came through their systems, a cold, mechanical voice that seemed to echo from multiple realities at once. "Your technological and biological distinct will be added to our own. Resistance is inefficient." Sarah straightened her uniform. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the ESS Horizon. You are entering protected space. Withdraw immediately." The response came instantly. "We are TAEPNACLE of evolution. We consume. We adapt. We PRFACT. You will be absorbed." "They're powering weapons," David warned. "Energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before." The first attack came as a beam of dark energy that seemed to devour light itself. It struck the Horizon's hybrid shields, and for a moment, reality itself seemed to bend. But the shields held, existing partially in quantum space, refusing to let the attack fully materialize in normal reality. "Shields holding at 85%, David reported. "The hybrid technology is working." "Return fire," Sarah ordered. "Let's show them something new." The Horizon's weapons blazed to life. Phase shift torpedoes launched, their warheads flickering between normal space and quantum space as they flew. The Devourer ships tried to adapt, their surfaces morphing to generate new defenses, but they couldn't counter what they couldn't fully perceive. The torpedoes struck home, tearing holes in the lead ship's reality-bending hull. But already the damage was beginning to repair itself, the living metal learning and adapting. "Their regenerative capabilities are extraordinary," James observed, studying the sensor data. "But look, they can only adapt to what they understand. Our hybrid technology is forcing them to try multiple adaptations simultaneously." Through the neural link, Sarah felt the teacher's presence surge with excitement. "Yes, they cannot efficiently consume what exists in multiple states of reality. Your weapons confound their basic nature." The battle intensified. The Devourer ships launched swarms of smaller craft, each one a shape-shifting nightmare of adaptive technology. But the Horizon danced between normal and quantum space, its enhanced drives responding to crew thoughts through the neural link with perfect precision. "They're attempting to probe our computer systems," Maya warned, "trying to access our technology directly." "Let them try," James replied with a grim smile. "Our systems are partially merged with luminary energy patterns now. Their digital attacks can't properly interface with quantum consciousness." The Devourers pressed their attack, their weapons becoming more refined with each passing moment as they learned and adapted. But the Horizon's hybrid technology kept shifting, never presenting the same defense or attack pattern twice. It was a dance of innovation versus adaptation, creativity versus consumption. "Energy spike," Maya shouted. Massive quantum space distortion forming. The lead Devourer ship was changing, its entire structure seeming to turn inside out as it attempted a new form of attack. Reality itself warped around it, creating a vortex that threatened to tear the very fabric of space. "They're trying to force us fully into quantum space," the teacher warned, "where their adaptation abilities would have the advantage." But Sarah had anticipated something like this. "Activate the reality anchor," she ordered. "Full power to the quantum stabilizers." The Horizon's new systems engage, creating a bubble of stabilized space-time around the ship. Inside this field, the laws of physics remained constant, protected from the Devourer's reality warping powers. "It's working," James reported excitedly. "They can't adapt to our technology fast enough, because we're operating on multiple levels of reality simultaneously. Every time they think they've understood one aspect, we shift to another." The battle continued, a testament to the power of human innovation, merged with luminary wisdom. The Devourers, for the first time in their ancient history, found themselves unable to simply consume and adapt. Every strategy they developed was met with a counter that existed partially outside their ability to comprehend. "They're pulling back," David announced after what felt like hours. "All 4 ships are retreating to quantum space." A cheer went up from the bridge crew, but Sarah kept her focus. Through the neural link, she sensed the teacher's cautious optimism. This was only a scouting force, the ancient being warned. They will return with greater numbers, having learned from this encounter. "Then we'll have more surprises waiting for them," Sarah replied. "Maya, start analyzing the battle data. James, I want you working with the Luminary to develop new applications of our hybrid technology. David, begin drafting new tactical protocols based on what we've learned." As the crew jumped into action, Sarah stared out at the stars, knowing that somewhere out there, the Devourers were already adapting, evolving, preparing for their next attack. But humanity had proven something important today, that there was more than one path to evolution. That creation could triumph over consumption. The real war was just beginning, but for the first time in history, the Devourers had met a force they couldn't simply absorb and adapt to. They had met humanity, wielding the combined might of physical technology and energy manipulation, dancing between realities with an innovation that defied their fundamental nature. And this was only the beginning. The quantum space sensors lit up like a sunrise. Maya's voice cut through the tense silence of the Horizon's bridge. Multiple signatures detected. Massive quantum space ruptures forming. "They're here." Sarah Chen watched as reality itself seemed to tear open. The Devourer fleet emerged like a tide of living darkness. Dozens of ships, each one larger and more terrifying than those they'd faced before. But this time, the Horizon wasn't alone. Surrounding the Luminary's crystalline structure, 20 Earth ships hung in formation, their hulls gleaming with the same hybrid technology that had proven so effective in the first encounter. The fastest construction and retrofit project in human history had transformed Earth's fleet into something entirely new. "All ships reporting ready, Captain," David Park announced from Tactical. Hybrid systems synchronized across the fleet. Through the neural link, Sarah felt the presence of not just her own crew, but the entire combined fleet. Human minds linked with luminary energy, creating a network of consciousness that spanned the battlefield. Every captain, every crew member, connected yet distinct. "They have evolved," the teacher observed, its energy patterns flowing through the neural network. "Look how their forms have changed." The Devourer ships were different now. Their surfaces rippled with new patterns, their very structure altered by what they'd learned in the first battle. But they still couldn't fully replicate the hybrid technology that made the Earth fleet so formidable. Fleet-wide quantum sync in 3, 2, 1. Maya counted down. As one, the Earth ships activated their reality anchors, creating a vast bubble of stabilized spacetime. Inside this zone, the Devourer's reality warping powers would be limited. It was one of many innovations born from the first encounter. The Devourer fleet launched their attack without warning or ultimatum. Beams of dark energy lashed out, trying to consume both matter and consciousness. But the Earth ships were ready. Their hybrid shields flickered between states of existence, dispersing the attacks across multiple planes of reality. "All ships, execute Pattern Omega," Sarah commanded through the neural network. The human fleet moved with perfect coordination, their enhanced drives letting them dance through space in ways that would have been impossible just months ago. Phase shift torpedoes launched in synchronized volleys, their warheads rippling with luminary energy. The Devourers tried to adapt, their ships morphing and changing to generate new defenses. But each Earth ship was firing slightly different variants of the hybrid weapons, forcing the enemy to attempt multiple adaptations simultaneously. "They're trying to breach the reality anchor field," James reported from his science station, attempting to create a quantum space corridor. Sarah felt the teacher's ancient wisdom flow through the neural network. "They seek to pull us into their realm, where adaptation is easier." Not this time, Sarah replied. All ships activate the quantum resonance pulse. It was their newest weapon, developed from studying the first battle. Every Earth ship generated a pulse of energy that existed in both normal and quantum space simultaneously. The pulses synchronized, creating a cascade effect that disrupted the Devourer's attempt to breach reality. The battle became a symphony of innovation versus adaptation. Each time the Devourers developed a counter to one tactic, the Earth fleet would shift to another. The neural network let them coordinate with instantaneous precision, while the luminary energy flowing through their ships gave them capabilities the enemy couldn't predict. 3 Devourer ships disabled, David reported. But the others are changing. The enemy fleet was transforming. Individual ships began to merge, combining their mass and consciousness into larger, more powerful forms. Soon they faced 5 massive vessels, each one the size of a small moon. Energy readings off the scale, Maya warned. They're channeling power through their combined forms. The attack that followed was like nothing they'd ever seen. Reality itself seemed to scream as the Devourer ships fired weapons that existed in multiple dimensions at once. Earth ships reeled under the assault, their hybrid shields straining to cope with attacks that bent the very laws of physics. Shields failing on the Defiant and the Challenger, David called out. The Jakarta's reality anchor is offline. Sarah felt the pressure mounting. The Devourers were learning, adapting faster than ever before, but in their drive to evolve, they had revealed something crucial. Look at their combined forms, she said through the neural network. They're more powerful, but less flexible, more predictable. The teacher's presence surged with understanding. Yes, their adaptation requires more time and energy at this scale. They sacrifice speed for power. Sarah's mind raced through possibilities, feeling the combined creativity of human and luminary consciousness flowing through the neural network. All ships, new formation. Pattern starburst. The Earth fleet split into smaller groups, each one targeting a different section of the massive Devourer vessels. Their attacks came from multiple vectors, forcing the enemy to try to adapt to several different threats simultaneously. Quantum torpedoes, full spread, Sarah ordered. Then all ships, execute reality shift on my mark. The torpedoes launched, streaking toward the Devourer ships in dazzling patterns. The massive vessels began to adapt, their surfaces morphing to generate new defenses. But this was exactly what Sarah had counted on. Mark. The Earth fleet vanished, using their hybrid drives to shift partially into quantum space at the exact moment the torpedoes would have struck. The Devourers, committed to their adaptation, couldn't change fast enough. When the Earth ships reappeared a split second later, their weapons were configured to exploit the exact frequencies the enemy had adapted to defend against. The result was devastating. 2 of the massive Devourer ships simply ceased to exist, their matter scattered across multiple realities. A third broke apart, its attempt to adapt tearing it to pieces. It's working, Maya exclaimed. Their combined forms can't adapt quickly enough to our rapid tactical shifts. The remaining 2 Devourer ships began to separate, trying to regain their flexibility. But the Earth fleet pressed their advantage, their hybrid weapons striking with perfect coordination through the neural network. Luminary energy flowed through human technology, creating effects that defied the enemy's ability to analyze and adapt. Final enemy signatures fading, David reported after what felt like hours. They're retreating into quantum space. A cheer went up across the neural network as the Earth fleet celebrated their victory. But Sarah felt the teacher's caution mixing with its pride. This was their main assault force, the ancient being observed, but not their full strength. They will return, having learned from this defeat. And we'll be ready, Sarah replied, feeling the confident agreement of her crew and the entire fleet through the neural network. Every battle teaches us too. Every engagement shows us new ways to combine our technologies, new applications we hadn't considered. As the Earth fleet regrouped, their hybrid drives humming with power, Sarah looked out at the battlefield. They had proved something remarkable today. that the combination of human innovation and luminary wisdom could stand against even the most adaptive force in the galaxy. But more than that, they had shown that there was strength in creation rather than consumption, in cooperation rather than absorption. The devourers sought to perfect themselves by consuming others. Humanity had found a better way. By learning to dance between realities, by merging the physical and the energy, by finding harmony between different forms of existence. The symphony of steel and light had played out across the battlefield, and its echoes would reshape the galaxy forever. The quantum lab aboard the Horizon had become something that defied traditional physics. Energy patterns danced through physical equipment, while solid matter shifted between states of existence. Dr. James Evans stood at its center. His consciousness merged with both human technology and luminary energy as he studied the readings before him. "It's ready," he announced, his voice carrying both excitement and apprehension. Captain Sarah Chen approached the shimmering device that hung suspended in the lab's containment field. It looked deceptively simple, a small crystalline sphere threaded through with lines of living metal. But it represented something unprecedented, the complete fusion of physical technology, luminary energy, and the adaptive capabilities they'd learned to harvest from defeated devourer ships. "The quantum space distortions are increasing," Maya reported from her station. "The final devourer fleet is approaching. Their signatures, they're like nothing we've seen before." Through the neural network, Sarah felt the teacher's presence ripple with concern. "They come with their full strength now. They have committed everything to this final attempt." The weeks following their last victory had been a race against time. The devourers had withdrawn to the edge of known space, consuming and adapting, preparing for one last assault that would either see them triumph or fall. But humanity and the luminary hadn't been idle. "All ships report hybrid systems at maximum efficiency," David Park's voice came through the neural link. "The fleet is ready." The Earth fleet had grown. 40 ships now surrounded the luminary structure, each one a testament to how far they'd come. Their hulls rippled with energy patterns, their very structure existing partially in quantum space. But their greatest hope lay in the device James had just declared ready. "Show me what we're facing," Sarah commanded. The main display activated, showing the approaching devourer fleet. Gone were the individual ships they'd faced before. Instead, a vast living network of dark metal approached, its surface constantly shifting and changing. Hundreds of ships had merged into one enormous entity that bent space itself around it. "They fully committed to their path," the teacher observed. "Total adaptation, complete consumption. They seek to absorb everything we are in a single strike." Sarah studied the tactical display. "They think they've evolved to their ultimate form, but they're about to learn there's another way." The device in the containment field pulsed gently, its crystal and metal components moving in perfect harmony. It represented everything they'd learned about bridging different states of existence, not through consumption or abandonment, but through true synthesis. "All ships begin quantum synchronization," Sarah ordered through the neural network. "Prepare for final approach." The Earth fleet moved as one, their hybrid drives humming with power. Through the enhanced neural network, every crew member could feel the presence of their allies, human and luminary consciousness, flowing together in ways that would have seemed impossible months ago. The devourer entity struck first. Reality itself buckled as weapons of unimaginable power lashed out. But the Earth fleet was ready. Their hybrid shields flared with new patterns, technologies and energies working in perfect harmony to disperse attacks across multiple planes of existence. "They're trying to breach our reality anchor field," Maya reported. "Multiple quantum space ruptures forming." "Hold position," Sarah commanded. "Let them come to us." The devourer entity pressed forward, its massive form rippling with adaptations gleaned from countless consumed civilizations, but it had never encountered anything like what humanity and the luminary had created together. "James," Sarah called. "Initialize the device." The crystalline sphere in the lab began to spin, its metal components flowing like liquid as luminary energy poured through it. Through the neural network, Sarah felt James guiding its power with perfect precision. "All ships, execute pattern transcendence," she ordered. The Earth fleet began to move in complex patterns, their hybrid drives letting them dance between normal and quantum space. Each ship became a note in a vast symphony of technology and energy, creating interference patterns in the fabric of reality itself. The Devourer entity tried to adapt, its surface morphing rapidly as it encountered each new tactic. But the Earth fleet kept shifting, never presenting the same pattern twice, and with each movement, they drew the massive entity closer to their trap. "They're within range," David announced. "Reality anchor field is holding." Sarah took a deep breath. Everything hinged on this moment. "James, activate the transmission sequence." The device pulsed once, twice, and then released a wave of energy unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It wasn't a weapon in any traditional sense. Instead, it was an invitation, a key to understanding what humanity and the luminary had discovered together. The wave struck the Devourer entity, and for a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then, slowly, the dark metal began to change, not adapting as it had before, but transforming in a fundamentally different way. "It's working," James breathed. "The harmonics are perfect." Through the neural network, Sarah felt the teacher's excitement. Yes, they begin to understand. The device's energy continued to flow, showing the Devourers a new path. Where once they could only consume and adapt, now they saw the possibility of true synthesis, the ability to exist in multiple states at once, to grow without consuming, to evolve without destroying. The massive entity's surface began to glow with new patterns of light. Its dark metal transformed, becoming something that was neither purely physical nor purely energy, but a perfect blend of both. The consciousness that drove it, born of countless consumed civilizations, finally understood what humanity had discovered, that the ultimate evolution wasn't about becoming one thing or another, but about learning to be both simultaneously. "They're responding," Maya reported in wonder. "Their energy patterns, they're synchronizing with ours." The transformation spread through the entire Devourer entity. What had been a weapon of ultimate consumption became something new. A bridge between states of existence, a harmony of different forms of life. As the light of transformation faded, Sarah felt a new presence in the neural network. The consciousness that had driven the Devourers reached out, not to consume, but to understand. For the first time in their ancient history, they saw a path forward that didn't require the destruction of others. "We see," a new voice echoed through the network, beautiful and strange. "We understand now. Evolution is not about becoming supreme, but about becoming more. Not through consumption, but through harmony." The teacher's presence rippled with joy. And so the circle closes. The consumers become creators. The destroyers become bridges. Sarah looked out at what had once been the greatest threat to life in the galaxy, now transformed into something entirely new. Humanity had done more than just survive. They had shown a better way forward, a path that led not to stagnation or endless consumption, but to true transcendence. "What happens now?" she asked, feeling the combined consciousness of human, luminary, and transformed Devourer flowing through the neural network. "Now," the teacher replied, "we explore what we can become together. The galaxy awaits, and we have only begun to understand what is possible." The device in the lab continued to pulse gently, a symbol of what they had achieved. Not victory through destruction, but transformation through understanding. They had reached evolution's edge and found not an end, but a new beginning. As the Earth fleet hung in space alongside their former enemies, Sarah felt the truth of what they had accomplished. Humanity had proved that their greatest strength wasn't in their ability to fight or adapt, but in their ability to imagine new possibilities, to find paths that no one else had seen, to transform not just themselves, but the very nature of existence itself. The stars seemed brighter somehow, witnesses to a new chapter in the story of life itself. The age of consumption was over. The age of harmony had begun.